of that community poll for Split. This is V1's map. T1 chose to start on defense, so we'll watch as V1 starts on attack here. Penny making some noise already in sewers. Pistols out, frenzy in hand for Penny. They bought some utility, but I mean, this is the pistol round. Don't expect too much.
You see the Boombot going straight up through mid to try and gather information. The toxic screen to push these players further back, and goes those flash bangs as we see the bird bangs as we see the nades coming out as well. That paint shell working great for Automatic, and down goes Penny. Leadoff pick here for T1 on defense, but you do have Whippy making a aggressive push up ramp over by A.
And he's going to be in heaven in just a second. Automatic has his back turned to him. They see him at the same time. He and Curry both working together. Automatic technically doesn't hit a single shot on that one. It's going to leave Zelsis above. He's over by heaven as well. He'll continue to march towards Dawn as best as he can. He gets gunned down by Brax. Doesn't see him standing up top. Down in the sewers, Effie's will go. And he's going to make some noise in the process. Vanity next up through mid. Heading up on that ramp. Watching. Nobody on ropes for him to have to deal with. Viper wall goes out. He'll check his corners. And there's nobody there. Classic in hand. He could pick up the frenzy at his feet. This is going to be tough. Taking some damage, but he'll trudge forward. He wants to provoke a fight with Dawn. Brax is not too far off as well. Looks in the wrong direction. I don't think Dawn hits a single shot. Good news. Brax does. Effie's in a 1v5. The defenders excelling on all of these pistol rounds. With Effie's on the right click. Drops one. You know he's got two. Automatic is very low, as there's Skadoodle, but the time runs out, and there's not much he can do. He gets taken out in the final moments after the fact. And that'll be the round for the defenders of Team 1.
Wow, beautiful shield wall strategy there from T1. Leave themselves open and exposed in certain areas so that when the push comes from Version 1, T1 can get them from the sides. And unfortunately for Version 1, they did actually push into those trap plays. They did make those mistakes. And there were a few hero pushes as well by themselves. Zelsis, for example, pushing into B heaven. We also had some push over by ramp on A. Whippy alone. And when you get picks like those in those 1v2s, favoring the defense, at some point you just run out of manpower. And that's exactly what we saw from Version 1.
Automatic still on ramp. He's looking downwards, trying to stop them. Nice shot from Skadoodle in the middle of the site. There's one of those bird bangs, as I so desperately want to call them. I still haven't been told if I'm allowed to say that or not. Automatic still above. He will rain terror down on the members of V1 over by ramp. And now it's Whippy's turn, next in line. Look longingly on the corridor towards screens. Skadoodle trying to hop for intel. Whippy sees him, but he's not going to dare a shot. Are your reflexes good enough, son? That's the question you got to ask yourself. A flawless was denied by the play in the last moments of the previous round. Version 1 are looking to deny it yet again. The Spectre of Dawn, though, easily outduels Whippy, and just look at that. The defenders claim their second round in a row.
All right, so obviously that was expected. You lose the pistol round, you're not usually going to pick up that second. It has happened, though, obviously, even in this series. So what we've been seeing for Version 1 is a continuation, I think, here. So a lot of spread out nature. That last push was just a typical split push in through A. But again, when you're disadvantaged in terms of your weaponry, what do you expect? This time, setting up for a default here on Version 1, they have finally been able to buy some rifles, so they're going to be in the fight. We are seeing the SMGs remain for T1, so they want to allow their economy to grow as much as possible, and that actually will put them at a disadvantage in this round, however slight.
So the full buy for V1. Significant round for them. Do or die, as we talked about before. Rounds now and then that can break your economy here, but if you've got a full buy and you're going up against a team that's still wanting to sport a thrifty, then, well, you're already staring down the barrel of a 2-0. So far, the defenders have been great on these pistol rounds. That means that V1 has an opportunity to make those up when the sides swap. They've got a long road to go before they get there. The Astra Star finally falls off in front of Whippy. He sees the Trailblazer. It hits him, and it will disorient him, while also giving information, and Skadoodle now can push up. He doesn't have the weaponry that he might want in this engagement, just a Spectre. He fires some warning shots, but then peels off.
Yeah, and that's the truth for all of T1 right now. So that's why there might be a little bit of hesitation on these engagements. Version1 are ready to push into A, all stacked up together, though.
30 seconds
Here comes
left.
Skadoodle. Is he going to be the first in the line of defense? What is he possibly going to do? He falls away. There goes one of the Astro Orbs. Finds Curry and Dawn. And Penny and Zelsis are removed from action. Curry still above. V1 are holed up at the moment. They might want to fall off, but they don't have tons of time. You have to rotate with 10 seconds left. Yeah, good luck.
10
Instead,
seconds left.
maybe just save. You spent all that money on all that weaponry, and guess what? It's technically going to be a flawless round for T1 as they don't lose any players, but you can't really make all that noise. Only 2 kills in that entire round, but a smart save from Version1, not wanting to give up those weapons.
Yeah, and I also have to appreciate the fact that in terms of economy, T1 just made out like absolute bandits. They not only saved all of their SMGs, other Spectres, and pushed that forward into the the third round, but they also got 2 of the rifles from Version1 out of that last round, and now they don't even need to full buy. Their economy is flush now. They're in a great position. T1 set themselves up for success there, and, well, a gunplay in the round delivered.
We are flush with cash.
Money, money, money.
Oh, they're going to wait. Still looking for mid. Curry waiting on vents, and the wall in front of him will stop him from seeing 4 different silhouettes of Version1. Just by the stairs now, as Effie's could be the one to find Curry, but now on the ropes, he will drop. T1 putting a lot of focus on that A site. He's stacked up. It's just the Killjoy right now with her arsenal of weaponry.
This is going to be an important moment for Curry, and he's got the support for the paint shell there. Automatic doing even more damage, but Vanity able to get the re. Great response from Version1. Good answer, especially considering that they don't even have a full buy this round. They're just trying to force it out as best they can.
Automatics to the left, Penny's looking to the right. This could be a duel for the ages, though he doesn't have the weaponry that he wants. Automatic, with the gun in hand, well, he'll be the one to come out on top of that. The Spectre hits its marks, and down goes Vanity. There's more lined up. He'll quickly swap, but he's capitalized on by Penny, who pushes up quite aggressively. Now it's V1 to try and get into the site as quickly as they can. An A site looks to be theirs for the taking. The Astra right now playing over by screens. Skadoodle will need to be the one to make some noise here, being watched intently by Effies. Just jiggling around the corner, the spike not too far off. And pushing back as Whippy is the one to watch the flank over by ramps. Wall will go up behind him, so you don't have to worry too much about being provoked from that angle. Sagewall also blocking the way into screens, and Skadoodle can either wait it out or start to fire. This is a tough spot for him to be in because he has to make noise regardless of what he wants to do. Effies and Penny managed to collapse in the last 2 members, and Skadoodle inside of screens. You've got lots of time to check this one through. Are you even going to bother to engage here? There goes the wall in front of you, but the 3 players from Version1 seem to be a bit too far, and no way you're going to get the spike either. Can't really get out of there. You're going to die to the spike or the bullets of Version1, and he decides to take the firing squad way out. Version1 get their very first round in impressive fashion.
In the nick of time, too, Parker. Luckily for T1, their economy's fine, so they'll be able to buy into this round. They actually did. They didn't even upgrade their Spectres that last round either. And that's part of why the round swayed so quickly in favor of Version1. You get those 2 crucial picks, and suddenly you're still dealing with some Spectres in play, and things get a little bit tricky for T1. This time, though, able to buy the Operator. Curry is going to be ready at mid for any potential challenge. He will get 2 from Sewers. Let's see if he hits this shot.
And as easy said as easy done. A pick from Curry on to Zelsis, shutting down the Killjoy on attack. And he'll hold that position at least for now. Version1 don't want to engage this, so they'll fall off to Ramen and then continue on over as quickly as they can towards the B site. Inside a garage is Vanity, waiting for that Viper wall to fall. It goes. And he's got a way in now if he wants. He has to be wary of that Astra Star in front of him. There it goes. And the combination does not work out. That's a lot of utility that's used from Dawn and Skadoodle, but it doesn't work the way that they want. This will at least delay Version1's push for but a moment.
And we also saw their Seekers being used by Curry, so a lot of expensive stuff being thrown out this problem. T1 have also very heavily rotated for B, and they're being wrapped in mid. They might still be addressed from male, but it's a mid push to be sure.
Whippy's going to be the one to charge on in. He'll have to look to his right and immediately engage in a duel. Gets spotted by the turret, backs away. Thinks that somebody's towards the back, but no, he's not. He'll try to hit the ropes and go down, but there's a lot of gunfire. Down goes Whippy. Brax patrolling this area. 2 kills for him. Phantom in hand. He's also looking towards Garage. Effie's his next one up. Vanity shuts him down. Dawn trades it off. Vanity now inside of the site, but he gets out-dueled by Automatic. And any panic from Team 1 is immediately alleviated as they pick up that 4th round.
Yeah, so T1, heavy rotation for B, and honestly, could have been exploited a little bit. A was lightly held, but obviously, version 1, they went for a full commit on B. They rotated it over to Heaven, thinking that they'd have the advantage there. Not so, though, and why? Because Rax is ready with the Nano Swarms in B Heaven. Super prepared on that setup, and Heaven, while it looks free for version 1, turned out to be an absolute death sentence.
So, version 1's focus on B this time. No, it's towards A after the last attempt didn't really go in their favor. So, Skadoodle will begin to pick away as that poison cloud is up in front of his very eyes. Doesn't look like any of those shots hit their mark. Penny decided to forego armor this time around. Curry sees the shoulder, down goes Penny. It's not going to save you from that operator whether you had it or not. The Automatic is on the flank. You might be able to catch up quite well. Out go the paint shells. This could be some significant damage done. His paint shells don't connect the way that he wants them to, but the Vandal does, and Whippy falls.
Yeah, now it's really down to Vanity to get a pick at mid, and he's going to be the one who gets picked, in fact. Curry will shut him down with the operator. We got a sheriff there. Brax gets Zelsis on ramp by A, and now it's just Effie's. He gets that operator down on the floor. It'll likely be retrieved, but at least he does some economy damage, getting rid of one of the rifles. Might be able to make something else happen here. He knows there's somebody by a ramp. He can hear them. Oh man, that pole. It's so difficult for Effie's to make anything happen because the enemy knows exactly where he is. Trying to get the spike. He might be able to, but I don't know if he's going to be able to turn that into anything else. He's got 30 seconds to take that spike and bring it to one of these sites. He'll get 1, now 2 big kills. That's 3 total for the round and a res. Suddenly, this is a 2 versus 2, but Dawn is there to deliver the round to T1. Beautiful try. Almost brought it back, but not enough.
Dawn on the flank, up goes sight unseen and punishes what could have been a heroic effort from Effie's to keep that round in his team's column. What more can you ask for on that one? Effie's playing it perfectly, taking the engagement, the spray transfer working well, and because of those kills, getting the ultimate as well. Resurrection comes on the board, and you can bring back one of your teammates at the same time. That's a heartbreaker of a round, and immediately version 1 will take a timeout to try and work their way through what we see is a very lopsided map so far. 5-1 is the scoreline in favor of T1 on Split. Because version 1 was the top-rated team between these two, they came in and they got to choose the 3rd map. Between Ascent and Split, they opted to go to Split, and as we talked about before the actual matchup started, the numbers heavily favor version 1 on this map. Now, I say that, but the numbers also heavily favored T1 on Icebox. And unfortunately for T1, it didn't work out that way. The way that something looks on paper is great, but maps aren't played on paper, they're played in the server. And so far, T1 has the upper hand in this matchup.
So we just saw some of the pings on the minimap actually there. It looked like we saw some pings from version 1 by Mail and by mid, so they're probably going to be going for something in that area. Early on, they're starting by A. C. Communication is going to be paramount here, and it's a pretty wide split, actually, for version 1. That Viper's Pit is probably going to deter any push by mid, and might just force V1 into committing fully to either A or B. At this point, it looks like A.
Waiting in the Viper's Pit. Patiently. Can't find anything. Dawn is just doesn't need to move much. Just hold that position. Skadoodle now playing over by screens, still hunting for information. A quick jiggle peek, jiggle jump, whatever you'd like to call it, around the corner. Automatic doing something similar in this very almost entrancing. It's like you're trying to like lull you to sleep in that circular motion.
Almost worked.
Almost worked. Almost caught me sleeping right there. Can't catch each other sleeping, though.
Yeah, it seems like it's set up here for A, though, committed by V1, and T1 has got to be ready. They are already rotating.
Automatic first lead-off kill. Ultis are going to come out. Automatic connects with the second. He doesn't need his gun for that one. No ace, though, for him as Curry picks up 2. A full house on the board. One gets 2. The other gets 3. Why not? Go for it. Automatic picks up the third, and indeed, a full house is on the board. A flawless as well for T1. Timeout for version 1. Doesn't immediately pay dividends. Still time for it to correct course. But version 1, they're trailing, and they're hurting. That screen right there shows you everything you need to know. The bottom frag on T1, Skadoodle, is almost being more effective per round than Vanity, who's second on V1. That is not where you want to be as a team.
Yeah, this is rough, Parker. And right after your tactical timeout, too, oof. I have to assume that a big part of that, and this is reflected in the slow nature of that round, is because version 1 was hoping to do something with mid, and the Viper Pit from Dawn completely stops that. So, yeah, that's probably why we didn't see the tactical timeout payout as you would expect. This time it is definitely mid, but it's also not really a buy for version 1. They're just doing what they can with what they have. A lot of pistols, a lot of sheriffs, 1 Spectre. See what they can do with this.
A flash gets tossed out there from Curry, swatted away by V1. Dawn's still up top, patrolling B heaven, but Zelsis is quick to be able to get up there. Don't know if he'll find anything as Dawn's now pushed back. They've got the turret nearby that'll give the position away. Seeker's also going out. They'll connect. Whippy losing a lot of HP. At some point, they're going to need to swing. Dawn gets called into action. He answers. Brax as well. And everybody's dying on the side of V1. T1 just absolutely cleaned them out. And yet another round goes in favor of the defenders.
Okay, so, I mean, I want to shine a little bit of light for version 1. They did get 3 kills on a force that was really light. But at this point, Parker, 7-1, this is getting real scary for version 1. They've got to pick something up here. They can't just hold on to that 1 round for the entire half. That would be really, really bad if they transfer over to the second. You know, this map could definitely completely change. When we go into the second half, version 1 gets defense. Well, that could make all the difference, but you know, they do need some wins here or there on attack. Luckily, this round they'll be able to full buy and bring it. We'll see if that makes all the difference.
Well, Curry's got that operator still playing in the same spot on vents. Could be flushed out of it if the nano swarm goes off by Zelsis. Put it away. Back in his pocket he goes, maybe trot it out another day. Continue to jiggle away at this spot as Effie's watches to see if somebody's going to go on the flank. Curry pulls off a double. My goodness, the second one that we've seen so far. It was automatic the first time, and he's going to share it with his teammate this time. That doesn't bode well for V1 with a minute to go, finding yourself in a 3v5.
That's not great, obviously, and Curry's also wise to this push over by A. He'll get his 3rd. He's actually set up for a 4th, but he misses that opportunity. Put low, though. Whippy dies to the pistol, and Skadoodle cleans up. No ace for Curry, but doesn't really matter. The impact is clear, and a full buy round for version 1 falls flat.
Unfortunate for them, and things are getting really grim for V1. They've already pulled that ripcord of having the timeout, so they'll just continue to trudge forward with T1 commanding just about every single part of this matchup. Did my eyes deceive me there? Was Curry 13-2? Was that a correct number that I saw? I mean, mind you, V1 has only won a single round, which means that the likelihood of anybody on T1 having more than 4 or 5 deaths is quite small.
We still have also 2 donuts on version 1 right now. That's is to say 2 people with no kills. So that also makes a big difference. You're not going to die a lot if that's the case.
It's a tough spot for them to be in, and frankly, great ability usage and excellent utility and ultimate usage that we see so far. Lockdown comes out, by the way. That's going to give some space for version 1. Oh. They use 2 ultimates of their own. So, well, Viper's pick goes out. The Astral goes out. Lockdown goes out, but it's answered back with a lockdown from the defenders as well. And Dawn nets the very first kill. They are slaughtering V1 right now on this retake. Automatic down to 1 HP. Penny will need to get his way out of there. He swings right in, but that's only 1 kill for him. It's all on the shoulders of Vanity to try and do something with. This was a huge sunk cost, and it means absolutely nothing because T1 still end up prevailing despite an overload of ability from version 1.
What a great cosmic divide to facilitate the initial entry. The Viper pick as well looks like it's going to be able to deter the retake, but ultimately, Parker, it's just not enough. Crucially as well, Version 1 decided to invest all of that utility in a round where they can't hold by. They had Spectres. They were doing what they could, but now look. Now they've got rifles. Now they're going to be able to bring Phantoms and Vandals. And they do have a revive from Effie's, so that's great. But man, I don't know, that Cosmic Divide and that Viper's Pit could have gone a lot more farther here. I mean, at this point, Parker, they're grasping at straws with a 9-1 scoreline, so what does it really matter, I guess?
Throw everything at the wall and hope that something sticks. In this case, Automatic's going to throw out some paint shells, then some Seekers thrown out from Curry as well. Lots of throwing references right here, and if you're a baseball fan, I'm sure you probably enjoy that, or for those that enjoy football, American football, they'll get that one as well. Automatic is just firing blind. Look at the bot go out. Nice shot by him onto the top of Penny's head. Silenced as the other Rays imposter down. Before that screen goes up, Automatic sees another and will now push over to Ramps, trying to flank from behind. Penny brought back from the dead as a resurrection from Effie's is successful, but it's not long-lived for Effie's. He drops to Automatic a second kill. With that resurrection, it's possible for Automatic to pick up 6 kills here in the round, if it weren't for Vanity, who ends his reign of terror on A Heaven.
Ooh, this is going to be a wrap back to B, but as you can see, T1 is so ready for this in male, and Penny's better in that heads-up fight! The second in male, though, is Brax, and he'll get 1 before Whippy shuts him down. Skadoodle now in the 1 versus 3. We've seen some miracles for the man before, but he is really far from the objective here. Plenty of time for Whippy to pick the perfect plant for this spike, and he'll get it down.
And now he'll fall off and watch Heaven. B Heaven, that is. There's 2 heavens on this map. Connector being watched from the spawn as well by Penny. We'll float on over to Skadoodle. There he is. He's over by that trash pile. Into garage. Very slowly, very carefully.
Skadoodle in his natural habitat. Retaking the site.
Looking for his prey.
There it is.
Fires 1 kill onto Whippy. Star goes out in front of him. He'll move around it. Just a bit of a cloak. Some damage being done to him. We've got an actual real clutch on the board here, but the spike is about to hit the point of no return, so no nature documentary is. Skadoodle, well, his natural habitat, where is it? We don't know. He gets punished for it. Version 1 pick up their second round as we go into the very final round of this first half.
Great job there for Version 1, finally getting something on the board. I love that wrap to B, and the lethality in which they executed in male. 3 people stacked on top of each other. Hard for T1 to deal with, especially after they lost the initial fight. Okay, so obviously, I think that Skadoodle probably could have clutched that one out. Unfortunately for him, he had to run a marathon all the way from A main to B main. It's a long jog, and he just didn't have time at that point. Still going to have an operator, though, for T1. As you can see, Curry ready to pick off a player at mid, this time from male instead of from vents.
We'll try to march in on V1's side of things. Greeted by an operator of Curry that doesn't hit the shots it wants. That's a pixel-perfect shot, but he's not able to make it. Penny from behind the ice wall does. That's 1 player from T1 to fall. Is it the first domino, or is there a comeback brewing? This is the very final half. V1 looking to stitch together some form of mental momentum. Paint shells from Automatic, claim Effie's, but not before the spike can get planted by the Sage. Still watching the link on in. T1 up top on B Heaven right now. They've got full artillery to make this one work. Automatic boosting on in. Ulti out. Can he do some damage here with the showstopper? Yes, he can. Only claims 1 on to Penny. Whippy now just waiting for them to push on up. They're on the spike. Gravity Wall comes out to try to suck them off of that spot. Vanity can't slow them down for too far. Zelsis picks off Dawn. He's got his work cut out for him. Can't connect enough. Brax cleans up. And that's the round for T1. The first half, a dominant performance as T1 takes it 10-2.
Oh boy, Parker, this is going to be a difficult recovery for Version 1, but now at least they get the half swap, so they get to go onto defense. It might very well be doable. That last round, it's a shame because Penny didn't get his showstopper off because he was stopped by the other showstopper from Automatic. Oof, that was rough. He had it on his shoulder, couldn't get the mouse one off fast enough.
Unbelievable stuff. And man, I want to see Version 1 come back. I'm not a bias caster, I promise you that. But we didn't come this far for T1 to just steamroll V1 on the final map. We need a competitive one. So Version 1, you got to send them your energy. As for us, they're going to send us off to a break, but we'll be back with the second half of our very final map between these two teams. We'll see you in just a moment.
Let's go.
It's time for the exciting conclusion of T1 versus V1. It's been a relatively long road. These teams have not been able to seal the deal just yet, but the best opportunity that we've seen since the very first map shows T1 up 10-2. That is an absolute demolishing of Version 1 on Version 1's map. Michael, do you expect anything to change now that we see the side swap and Version 1 will be on defense?
Parker, given that all of my presumptions through this entire series have been false, I do not expect anything any longer, as I have proven myself to be an absolute nincompoop. And I'm just going to let the game play out.
You don't believe in anything, like, at all?
Yes, that is what I said, Parker. That's exactly, yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what you said, actually.
Yeah, verbatim. Exactly. Now I know that I have no faith in anything whatsoever. And what I do not have faith in, necessarily, is this mid-pressure. For which team, you're going to have to go ahead and guess.
Well, if they're able to pull out these two pistol rounds that T1 have been capable of before, then that's going to be match point, series point. However, the defense have been so strong on these pistol rounds that for Version 1, you just got to wait for T1 to get to you. I think this is going to be a good signal as to what to expect for the remainder of this half. If V1 come out on top here, then all things are relatively normal. If T1 can take this very first round, then I think that Version 1 are in significant trouble. Automatic just narrowly misses out on Penny as he does his best disappear on. There was an opportunity to crack open this first round on their second half, but it was missed by T1.
This is V1 doing a great job of avoiding conflict as an individual and trying to stack up as a team. It seems like it's going to be B pressure as a primary. As you see T1 pushing through Mail into B heaven, but they fall back as there's 4 players for V1 on B, leaving just the killjoy of Zelsis alone on A.
That's not good. That's not what you want to see. Vanity from above over on A heaven as he'll now run over towards screens, not too far off of Zelsis. Zelsis looking for the very first kill. He's going to find it on the Curry, answered back by Dawn. Zelsis next one up, though, and he picks up another kill. Automatic shuts him down. Skadoodle got spike in hand. Plant going down. Whippy's going to try his best. They're all jumping in. But Effie's goes massive. 3 big kills for the Sage, and V1 take the very first pistol round.
Wow, Effie's getting 3 kills within 3 meters there. Beautiful stuff on that corner. Definitely exactly what you want to see if you're Version 1. They needed that pistol round. Oh, here we go. We get to see it, I hope. There's the second and the third. Beautiful stuff, really. Effie's exactly what you need, like I said.
Very well played by him, coming up on the flank and nobody really seeing him, and able to swiftly end any potential post-plant for T1. As the prophecy foretold, the defenders excelling on these pistol rounds.
Yep. It's just been a trend through this entire series, really.
The attackers have actually only won a single pistol round so far through these 3 maps. That's it. And that's Not a very impressive number for the attackers, but if you let the maps play to your advantage, that's all you really need. Not exactly pistols, as it's a half buy now from V1, trotting out these Spectres with one ghost in hand to Vanity. Watching the ice wall is Penny by mid, and Boombot goes out over top. Gets shot away at it. Now the ice wall will likely fall. Effys is called into action to try and help, and he was the hero of the previous round. Can he pull those heroics off a second time? His team might need him here.
Ooh, Penny rocking a hard place there, but he gets out of it. Those classics, just not enough damage onto Penny. He looks back at Devenson. He's got actually support now from his teammate of Zelsis, and Effy's pushing up aggressively on Mail, but T1 wants to re-up on this mid pressure.
And Penny gets flashed, looks away.
Oh!
No way! Every single one. 8 kills in a row for Effys, 3 in the previous round. The ace this time. Both pistols go to version 1.
Obviously, it's a pistol round, right, for T1. They don't really have anything, and it's the Spectre spray down, but still impressive, Parker. And you can't take it away from Effys. He has been monumental for version 1 on these first 2 rounds of the second half. Beautiful stuff from him. I think he has, just over these last 2 rounds, put himself at first place, pole position on his team.
Well, the story that we have for these teams has been dominated by different faces in every single map, and that's the kind of depth that you come to expect. And with the way that T1 plays their agent selection, well, you'd expect that as they swap out roles. Not so for version 1, who've just been gelling. And despite the result on that first map, it showed how strong they can be on Icebox. They've got a hell of a lot of work to do to get back onto even footing with T1 here. As I've said time and time again, a comeback has to start somewhere. So taking these 2 immediate rounds, but now with everybody basically being on even footing. Instead, V1 is going to roll with a thrifty. Vanity, who had just had the Ghost previously, is going to roll with a Vandal. You can shut them down. Effys has yet to die so far in this half. He'll go for a slow. Curry not too far off of that line of sight, but nobody wants to provoke an engagement just yet.
Mid pressure has always been the focus for T1, and they're going to keep it up. But nothing coming of it just yet. Worth noting here is that we still see 4 retained Spectres for version 1, whereas it's full rifles on T1's side. They do have Dawn lingering over by A main. It looks like that's going to be the long-term path here as 3 players rotate through sewers. But look at the time. They just don't have a lot. T1 have to commit to a push here, and they have to do it soon.
And they're desperately running out of time. They're going to get past the point of no return very quickly. Vanity right now is going to be the one sitting on the screen in the middle of the site, trying to pull them all in, maybe blind them. A lot of target prioritization. Zelsis one, Vanity the other. Down goes Effys. His reign of terror is over. You can breathe easy. But Curry and Brax have their work cut out for them in a 2v3. Zelsis can't be stopped. And just like that, he and Penny combined for the very final kills. T1 can't buy around so far on their attack. Shades of Icebox coming back to us as V1 have now won 3 rounds in a row.
Parker, that round is tricky, and it looks like it'll be a tackle timeout by one of these teams. Most likely T1 at this point. I believe version 1 already used theirs. So, yeah, and I think this is the right time. Yeah, you still have a lead, but you've got to recoup things here. You've got to figure out what the problem is on your attacks and fix that ASAP. For that last round, my take, there just wasn't enough pressure from any other angle other than main from T1, and they were covered by smokes galore all the way through main. So they finally start fanning out, and it's an absolute death sentence. Automatic not able to make anything happen as he was actually able to get himself up into heaven, and following that lack of pressure, it's just a slaughter for the players trying to get into A. Probably a difference maker could have been maybe a few people pushing up through ramp, a late wrap through mid. You know, there's a lot of options, obviously. But T1 just tries to bolster their manpower in the direct site take, and it doesn't work.
So, I don't know if anybody that is watching has been keeping tabs on the madness that is TSM versus Gen G, but they are still on map 2.
Wait, really?
Yes, they started at the same time as us. And they are still on map 2.
That's got to be really intense.
Yeah. And do you know why that is, Michael?
Hopefully because they keep going to overtime?
Because they were just in round 41
Oh no!
So, safe to say, it's been a bit of a close game.
Yeah, so they went real far in overtime, is what you're saying. Wow, and that's 2 maps, you said?
That's just map 2.
Oh, that's just oh my gosh.
If T1 had taken those 3 rounds, we would be finished our best of 3 before they'd even completed their second map.
Damn.
Simo and Bala, I hope that you are having a great time with that one.
Yeah, don't die, guys. And make sure to preserve your voice. Be careful. Those kinds of matches.
They get you because
now
that we're on a technical timeout, by the way, as we wait to see what exactly is going to be popping up next. A nice view of the Ruined King.
Ramble time.
The Ruined King, by the way.
Yeah.
The worst part about casting a map that goes that long, there's a lot of amazing things about a map that goes that deep into overtime. The only part that is a bit of a downside, other than possible scheduling conflicts, is that as a caster, you have no idea how to properly pace out overtime when it's in 3-round increments. Because you can get really excited and really pumped, but then the round ends up being relatively inconsequential. It's crazy how hard it is to actively gauge it. So, like I said to Simo and Bala, I want to make sure that they're doing okay. They're both tremendously talented casters. I've been fans of theirs for as long as I've heard them casting. But that's just, it's not easy. That said,
brutal.
Technical timeout has ended. But we hope the best for the people watching the TSM Genji match. But we are still close to closing this one out. T1 fans, sorry for your hearts, as right now, it probably isn't easy to be a T1 fan.
And it's weird to say that, considering they're up 5 rounds, but if you've been watching this second half play out, you'll understand what we're talking about. And if you take a look at the weaponry, it's reflected there as well. As T1, they're trying to do something here with the frenzies of the sheriffs, but against full rifles, full utility on version 1, even a revive for Effies, this is not going to be an easy round to make happen.
One set of paint shells goes out, another now will be answered from Penny, lobbing it from B Heaven, but nobody there to connect. Automatic has taken some damage. There's no Sage for him to get healed up, so he'll just stay at that unless we see Sky use her healing prowess on him, but she's got it. At any point, Automatic can potentially receive it. Zelsis is hugging the screen. 30 seconds, by the way, on an incredibly slow round thus far. No real major action. Automatic tries to sneak up, but he gets gunned down by Vanity. V1 in full control. Vanity can't connect more than that. The frenzy for Skadoodle as he now pulls out the Vandal. Reconnects. It's him in a 1v2. Trying for the bullet pens on Zelsis. With the spike going down, he has to hurry. He has plenty of time. Whippy coming from over towards screens. Does Skadoodle have any intel? T1 have been in free fall. Whippy looking to keep the streak alive for version 1, but Skadoodle cannot win the gunfight. Whippy comes out on top. V1 streak continues apace. T1 still unable to find a round in this half.
Oh man, that's a heartbreaker, Parker. He only had 4 bullets left in that magazine, and if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Skadoodle, but it just did not pan out that way. Nice try though. Beautiful, really. Almost a 4K clutch. You can see his tracer was just over the head of Whippy. So, version 1, with continuing their streak, they have also, through that last round, managed to secure many an ultimate. Do have the Cosmic Divide and the Lockdown from Zelsis. So, version 1 are going to be good at repelling any kind of take whenever it happens. There is a Cosmic Divide for Skadoodle here, since he had that beautiful try in the last round. He has earned it. And he could probably make something happen with that, but it's definitely stacked for version 1 here.
Absolutely. They work away at the Sage wall, that ice wall, stopping them from being able to get the entry point to mid that they want. Down it goes. Still one lone piece remaining, but not consequential, at least not now. Boombot goes out into vents, can't find anything for the time being. Will continue to just plunder away, and now head back down the stairs. Fare thee well on your mission, little one. We wish you all the best.
You find many players in your journeys.
We'd be watching Garage, and T1 are stacked up in that particular area, 4 of them, waiting. There's an Astra Star on the ground. Whippy will continue to jiggle peek around. He's actually just a tiny bit over the head, looking to drag down. They'll connect on automatic. Assuming the follow-up, he'll walk backwards before firing away. That back pedal, not connecting with anything that he wants. Meanwhile, Curry's up top. Out go the Seekers. A lockdown also will come on out, and it's just absolute mayhem from above as Curry completely utility dumps. But V1 can stop him before anything can really happen. They're holding on to this defense, and they'll stop the plant from going down, at least for now. Cosmic Divide, preventing Whippy from seeing what's on the other side. He gets gunned down by Dawn. It's a 3v3. T1 still desperately trying to find a round here on attack. This is one of the closest attempts that we've seen of them thus far, but the timer's not working out in their favor. It's going to be right on the razor's edge. Penny drops out those satchels trying to stop it. Can't do it in time. Looking to connect onto Dawn. Successful. Vanity and Zelsis clean up. Everybody gets in on the fun. 1 kill apiece for the remaining members of V1. And this comeback, Michael, is very real.
Parker, that round could have easily gone either way, but the true determining factor was Zelsis's lockdown. As soon as T1 got control of the B bomb site, the lockdown came out. No plant possible because of it, and that crucial moment where the lockdown is delaying the plant for T1 meant everything. Allowed Version1 to set up for the retake. And wow, retake they did. Beautiful stuff. Also, the take up in heaven by Curry. Honestly, I expected him to get more out of that. He dropped the Seekers. He used his bird bangs well. And it just didn't amount to very much other than the initial pick.
Well, he dumped all that utility on in, but it was called out at the same time that we saw the lockdown go down from the defenders. Version1. And then we also had that Cosmic Divide that came out from Skadoodle. It was utter chaos up above, and trying to keep track of all of it, as Curry probably did, was mayhem. Well, T1's best opportunity to be able to get a spike planted and then immediately hold a stronger position in the post plan has revealed itself with this Killjoy being planted. And a showstopper in the hands of automatic as they take charge up top into B heaven, and they've cleared it all out. This showstopper might go to no use. No, he fires it down into the connector, the link towards the spawn. And T1 have the site. They need to get the spike planted onto B. Viper's Nest also goes out. That's a lot of utility work that we've seen so far. 3 ultimates being trotted out by T1, and right now, all they've been able to do is get that spike down. And I say all that they've been able to do because they've done it quite successfully thus far. The retake is where it's going to be toughest. Automatic misses his shot. That's not good news. Vanity capitalizes off of it in the Viper's pit. They'll try to do some damage. Skadoodle, the very first kill for T1. But Penny, a big double, and it's a collateral. Vanity's brought back 2 for added measure. And there goes Curry, and there goes the round. V1 on such an impressive streak. T1 cannot close this gap at all. They can't buy a single round. And it's only 2 more rounds for V1 to be tied up.
And you say buy a single round, and you're absolutely right. That was an expensive one. Viper's Pit used, full buy, obviously. So many things going wrong there for T1. And they almost managed to make it happen, but Effie's with a good revive, and obviously those kills from Penny paying out well. Man, this is tricky, Parker, because obviously, it's very defender-sided so far, and that's the main takeaway. This sometimes happens with Split, but it's when does this stop the momentum continuing for V1 as the rush comes out for automatic? The back and forth still resulting in Version1's advantage, and it seems like they even have mid-pressure, but the wall is stopping it. T1 obviously just trying to force this round, so what do you expect?
I mean, what do you expect is a great question. I have no expectations at this point because this match has been
right?
So upside down. I mean, you said that you lost faith in everything for the remainder of your life.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you said here.
Okay.
2 walls, one's a Viper screen and one is a Sage wall, will stop T1 from taking up space in mid the way that they want to and then beginning to head towards Mail. Effie's was so strong in that spot before, not just a 3K when he rotated down from it over towards A, but then the ace that also came from Effie's in that exact same spot. That's been a position that he knows quite well. T1 don't want to deal with B anymore, so instead they'll head over towards vents and ropes and drop down. Maybe pressure that A site as best they can, where you can see there's a ton of Killjoy utility from Zelsis, and he sits on top of it like a mother hen, waiting very patiently for T1 to greet him.
Here.
You know how nasty a mother hen can be when her nest gets attacked.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky for T1, but oh, perfect pick onto Effie's. That opens things right up. Now all the pressure is on Zelsis. He's going to have to hold deep in the sight, and he won't be able to. Curry, huge frag. Now it's all on Penny and Whippy for the retake, but they have the showstopper and the Viper's pick, so it's very possible.
You are divided.
2 ultimates, though, and an answer from their own as Skadoodle uses that Cosmic Divide, and he'll hold off. Showstopper pulled out, but Skadoodle shuts him down like shooting clay pigeons. Curry cleans up on that one. A massive round for T1, and boy, they finally get something on the board.
Wow, what a massive win from T1.
Ooh.
It's funny because that's not even the nastiest shot he landed. That one midair, I gotta see that. There it is.
Oh.
Wow. Imagine he doesn't land that. Penny gets the kill with the showstopper, and now suddenly Penny's up close with a rifle. He could work something there. Anyway, that's not what happened. What did happen is T1 finally get their first attack and make it happen. They recover their economy, and now they're in a great position to possibly get yet another. It was expensive, but it happened.
What did it cost you?
Everything.
I mean, not quite everything, but pretty close to. Were we talking about how Fast and the Furious memes were a little too played out? Now we drop them. Now we drop a Marvel's Avengers meme. Like, come on, we can't. Anyway.
You know what? We're just tired old casters with our old jokes.
I'm 31 years old.
You are actually old.
All right,
That's
anyway.
crazy.
T1 take a huge round. We're not going to focus on that. T1 take a huge round with it. The economies are healthy on both sides for but a single round. Make or break for T1 here. They don't want to find themselves back in an unfavorable position after a result that they really wanted. You are correct that they wasted/used a lot to do that. You don't want to see it be wasted. Curry is the closest to having an ultimate. Those Seekers can be so valuable in flushing out the location of the defenders. As for the side of V1, might be superficial, but there's still a Viper's Pit and still a Cosmic Divide up there. As Vanity will jiggle peek around, watching Garage. It's the right call, by the way. He gets a contest with Automatic. Some damage is done to Vanity, but not very much. Final 30 seconds of action here, and there goes the Cosmic Divide from Vanity. He doesn't want that push to be particularly easy for T1. They worry about what's on the other side of that nebula, and they'll continue to push forward. Vanity sees one soaring through the air, but the gunfire from T1 works better. 2 big kills from them. Penny shut down from above. T1 seemingly have found some vigor and a new lease on life. Zelsis and Whippy to hold now against the hordes. Might they save? Worry if you do is that T1 moves to series point. He saved before on this one, though, and V1 were almost able to make a comeback out of it, all the way back on Haven, if you recall. It's a tough decision to make. You've got 2 of those Phantoms in hand. You don't necessarily want to overcommit here and die and come out empty-handed. Best shot is maybe recover on the next round.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. See if you can do some economy damage. Zelsis will get Curry, and another onto Brax, but that's it. Slight eco damage there, of course, but it's not going to be significant. The win is still in T1's column. I gotta say that Cosmic Divide was, like, so bad for the defense. Oh, that V1 Cosmic Divide from Vanity just did not work out for them. It actually lost them the potential to retake into Heaven, which is brutal. On top of that, Version1 also used their Viper's Pit in that round, over by A main. Which, yeah, you forced T1 into a B main take now, but, well, it worked. So, that was an expensive loss there for Version1. Luckily for them, they still have their lockdown from Zelsis. So, that might be what prevents them from losing here now on match point.
Well, my oh my, imagine that you are V1. You've put in all this work. You've come so close, and unfortunately, looks like you might come out empty-handed, but for now, all that work, and T1 just snatches it right back from you. But hey, here's your saving grace. Down goes Dawn, the Viper removed from action. Utility dies with her as well. V1 on defense, throw down a lockdown to try and blunt the momentum of T1, and so far it seems like it's working. A second kill against T1 comes out. That's a favorable 5v3 for V1, but it might have been a fake, Michael, this whole time. They've got control of B if they push forward. T1 have bamboozled V1.
But the counter is coming out here from Whippy using all of his utility. That was a fast rotate. There goes the bite, but it's actually going to be the grab there from the Astra to lock things up. to back and forth, but because T1's already down so many men, it ends up just being Curry in a 1 versus 3. He's got to find Zelsis on Heaven. He does see him, can't land the shot. Penny over by Pillar, difficult to handle both these angles, and he won't be able to. Penny with the final kill. And Version1, yes, they got bamboozled, but you were able to recoup and rotate fast enough to recover.
Far too many angles for him to watch there, and they got sucked in by the gravity well and then finished off. Played well at the doorway leading from garage into the B site, and there you have it. There's another one that's shown up on your screen. Version1 took the fight very early on in the second gravity well right there as well with the slow orb. Spike dropped as well. Not exactly what you want to see if you're T1. V1 answers back, and now they are still within inches of being able to tie this up. Somebody tell me what's going on with the TSM Gen G game right now. Is it finished yet? Going? Is it still going? Are we in a race at the moment? That's what I need to. That's what I need to sort out here.
I do wonder, Parker, but right now we got by ramp. Vanity going down to automatic. That's huge. That could be the opening. T1 need. It's not secured yet, but there's no ultimates for V1, so this is going to be difficult from the retake on the A side if Zelsis loses his fight.
The boombot goes off, so there's some information, but not a ton. Effie's loses that one to Brax. Effie's has been so good on those shots so far today, and that's a bad time for him to have some stumbles. Mid pressure now alleviated. T1 can continue to move forward with that map control. Looking at the back of B where Viper is currently sitting, and Whippy doesn't understand that the storm is on its way. Those storm clouds gathering above. Curry might be able to stop this on Link, but no, Whippy shuts him down. Turns around the corner. Skadoodle outduels him. Curry trades off on Zelsis, and there it is! T1 just have too many numbers. They take control.